There are few skills more valuable than learning to properly write a business letter. Regardless of your profession, you will use this skill throughout your life. You may write a cover letter when applying for a job, or write to a company about applying the warranty to a product that you purchased. Through this lesson, I am going to show you how to properly write and format a business letter. The style I will use is called the block style, which is widely used and accepted. Now, let's get started with the different sections. Now we'll go through the different sections that make up a properly formatted business letter. To start, go to Page Layout, Page Setup, open Dialog Box, and under the Layout tab, set your page alignment to center. This will keep your letter centered vertically on the page. Then, go to your spacing and click Remove Space above and below paragraphs. Set your font to Times New Roman, size 12, and align to the left of the page. Today we're going to write a cover letter in the block style letter format. These are very common in business. Formatting is extremely important. The first section of a letter is called the heading. The heading may include the return address and the date. I prefer to keep it simple and only include the date here. Placing the return address here can be confusing or misleading. The reader will find that on the envelope anyway. So for your assignment, only place the date in the heading. Do not worry about the space above the heading because you already set your page layout to be centered vertically on the page. Below your heading, there will be 3 blank lines, which means you should press Enter 4 times before you write the next section. In the next section, you will write the inside address. This is the address of the person to whom you are writing. This section should include his or her full name, place of business, street address, city, state, and zip. There should be no blank space between the pieces of the inside address. For our example, we're writing to Miss Jane Smith. Second line, First Savings Bank. Third line, 1234 Main Street. And last line, Palatine, Illinois, 60067. Below the inside address, you should leave a blank space equivalent to 1 line. This means you should hit Enter twice before you start the next section of the letter. Here, you will write the salutation. This section includes the last name or proper title of the person to whom you are writing. If you don't know the recipient's name, make a call or do some research to find it. If you are unable to obtain this information, you can include his or her job title. For example, Dear Customer Service Manager, or Dear Sir or Madam will do. Ideally though, you'll include the person's last name with the respectful honorific, like Mr., Mrs., or Dr. Always include a colon after the salutation, not a comma like you would in an informal letter. After the salutation, you should leave a blank space equivalent to 1 line. This means you should hit Enter twice before you start the letter's content. Now we will write the introduction. For the introduction, come to the point. Reveal your purpose and interest. Identify the position and where you found it, and introduce your strengths. For our example cover letter, we're going to say, I am interested in applying for the position of bank teller as advertised on collegecentral.com. Posted on Sunday, January 9th, 2017. I believe my experience in cash handling and bank operations meet your qualifications perfectly. For the introduction, always ensure that you get to the point clearly and immediately. After typing your introduction, you will leave a blank space equivalent to 1 line before you start the next section of your letter. This means you should hit Enter twice. The next section is the body of the letter. The body is where you give the important details in as few words as possible. Be sure to leave out any inessential details. For our example cover letter, outline your qualifications matching them to the job description. Relate experiences and accomplishments to your employer needs. Make reference to the enclosed resume. For example, as you can see from my resume, I have 5 years of experience as a teller, and am familiar with many aspects of commercial banking. Knowledge in computing figures with speed and accuracy, maintaining proper activity in customer accounts, and operating computer databases are some of the skills I could contribute to your team. My experience includes being commended multiple times at previous positions for quality customer service and for encouraging repeat customers. I would particularly like to work for First Savings Bank because of your organization's excellent reputation for customer service. After the body, leave a blank space equivalent to 1 line before you start the next section. This means you should hit enter twice. Now we will write the conclusion. This is the section in which to be specific about the course of action you hope to follow this interaction. For our example cover letter, suggest a follow-up plan. Request an interview and indicate that you will follow up with the employer within a specific time period. Show your appreciation to the employer for considering you for an interview. I look forward to hearing from you to set up an interview. Please contact me at your convenience if I can provide further information about my qualifications or to answer any questions. I can be reached at 847-555-1234. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration. After typing the conclusion, you will leave 1 blank space between the conclusion and the next section. This means you should hit enter twice after writing the conclusion. Now it's time to write your complimentary closing. For the closing, be careful with your word choice. Using words like truly yours or with love are inappropriate for a professional letter. Also, you don't want to be too casual. Sticking with something generic and professional like sincerely is the best way to go. After you write your closing, it's time to add your signature. So you will leave a space equivalent to 3 blank lines between the complimentary closing and the next section. This means you should hit enter 4 times before you write the next section. This is the space where you will later sign your name with a pen. Now it's time to write your signature. Your signature is simply your name. If this letter relates to a certain position you hold, you can write that position under your name. However, if there is no title relating to the issue at hand, simply typing your name will suffice. You should leave 1 blank space between your signature and the next section. This means you should hit enter twice after typing your name. The next section of the letter is called the enclosure. This is where you will list any documents that you've also included. For example, in this cover letter, we might write Enclosure, Application Form, Letters of Reference. You should leave a blank space equivalent to 1 line between the enclosure and the final section of the letter. This means you should hit enter twice. The final section of the letter is the copy notation. This is where you will include the names of anyone else to whom the letter was sent. For this cover letter, we do not need any copy notation. However, if you were to include a copy notation, you would write the letter C, a colon, and then the name and title of anyone else who received the letter.